Welcome to the last part of the Janome Quilt Along 2022 with me, Melissa Marginette. What a journey this has been. Today we're going to add the binding to our quilt, and we're going to do it completely by machine. So follow the instructions in the PDF to cut your binding and follow along with me while we attach it to the quilt. Let's attach our binding strips.
Place your pieces right sides together at a right angle. Leave a bit of overlap so you can clearly see this little notch here right where they meet on each side. Okay, and what we're going to do is stitch from that notch to this notch. You can mark it if you find that's easier for you. And I like to use a shorter stitch length when I am stitching these. This is what it looks like. And I've shortened my stitch length to a 2 millimeter because we are going to press that open. So once you have this stitched from this little notch here to that notch, I like to lay it out to make sure that I've stitched it the correct way. So it looks like I've done okay there. I'm going to take my ruler and my rotary cutter and I'm going to trim that off at 1/4 inch. I'm also going to trim off these little dog ears and then press the seams open. Next, press the binding in half lengthwise, wrong sides together. So place the binding with the raw edges towards the raw edge of the quilt. I'm using a 1/4 inch seam attachment on my AccuFeed Flex foot to stitch the binding to the right side of the quilt. When you come to the corner, stop 1/4 inch from the edge and fold the binding to create a mitered corner. I like to press my binding so I get a nice crisp edge and it's easier to fold it over to the back. Turn the binding to the back of the quilt and pin in the ditch. Make sure to catch the binding on the back. Secure the mitered corners with hand stitching before machine stitching the binding down. I've pinned all the way around the quilt and secured the corners with hand stitching. So now I'm using the ditch stitching foot attachment to secure the binding by stitching on the top of the quilt in the ditch of the binding. Here's my finished quilt. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I would love to see your makes, so don't forget to share them on social media.